Oh, it's water. But I do like the tequila. I need to get another bottle of this. I think it's like 12 bucks or something. I don't like putting water in plastic, so we always put it in these bottles here, and I go around like this, and everyone's like, dude. Okay. Hi, I'm Ellis Bourbonnais, and this time we're doing Ramblin' Pony amps and brown bag guitars. Here's some brown bag. Everything in here is a brown bagger that we made, except for this. And we'll be demoing this 1977 Strat that we've had up for sale. I believe we have it maybe for somewhere between $2,200 or $2,400, which on this, you know, a Strat of this caliber is just, you know, it's a great price. This guitar, and every time I pull it out and say, okay, let's sell this one off, my girlfriend, Colleen, my lady friend, she says,
why are we selling this guitar?
Right, she always says that. And I go, I don't know, you know, we have so many, and, you know, this 1977 is like in mint, super mint condition. This has this old classic ashtray, but they're difficult for me to play, so I'm going to take it. They called them an ashtray because the guy's smoking, and obviously this was owned by a smoker because it's got a little bit of the cigarette burn up here. But they used to take them and they'd put them on their amp like that, and either they'd have their cigarettes here, and they would. So it's called the ashtray on that and on Telecasters. So, beautiful guitar. I mean, this is a 1977, and it's just a beautiful, very, it's all original stuff. This serial number right here matches the serial number on this pickguard. These are all original electronics, tremolo, everything. So, and I was playing it, and it sounds a little bit more Fendery than a lot of the modern Fender pickups. I have some in this guitar right here that I built. This is one of ours, and of course I put a big head on it, even though it is a 50s paint job. But these are fat 50s pickups, and they're pretty fat, you know. They're not really the originals, you know, say from the 70s, like that Richie Blackmore or Huey Thomason of the Outlaws, or Richie Blackmore of Deep Purple, or of any of those guys who played these in the late 70s, mid 70s, or whatever, you know. So, yeah, this is it. It's kind of a little bit smudgy, got this here, but we're going to smudge it up anyway and sweat it up. And it has the three-way switch. And I don't know, you know, I only have had a lot of Strats. I got like 6 or 7 right now. Here's another off Strat that we built, but it's got Telecaster quarter pounders, and it was done in the reverse style Hendrix. You know, we made everything, the pick guard and everything. And this is a pretty groovy little silly little rig we did. Actually, it plays quite nice, and these quarter pounders, Seymour Duncan's, just they're pretty wild pickups. But this is a real Fender, and we've had it up for sale for quite a long time. So we're actually a little bit surprised. I was looking for another pick, but we're actually surprised that nobody wanted one. I have another 1979, and it's a black bust up dog. It's all chipped up, the paint's all ripped off of it, but it's a Maple Dog 1979, and I like that Strat. I like that Strat a lot. So these are the Ramblin' Pony 5E3 pickups, and basically, I mean pickups, it's an amplifier. This is one we just made, and so this is in the Tweed. And this is another one over here, but it's in a different cabinet configuration. This is basically your Tweed Deluxe amp, which was considered one of the all-time best amps. So this one has a different speaker configuration. It has a 12 and a 10. So it needs to have a different impedance to run those two speakers. This guy right here, I always like two speakers, but on this one I had this really nice Celestion right here. I think it's about a 70 watt. So we put it in it. This amp is on. We'll leave it on. This is a really nice amp. I custom make all of these boards by hand. The phase inverter right here, I match all of the components, these big Sprags. You got the big Sprags here. These guys are all matched components to have their, what do you call it, their numbers matched, their ratings. But in here, here's some Mallory 150s. Anybody that knows about these parts knows that these are the best part. This was a little bit adapted right here because I put these in series. So this says 350 right here. Well, since this is in series, it can take a power spike of up to 700 volts. If you notice, it has a 100 right here on it. Well, when you put them in series, it halves the voltage. I mean, it halves the microfarad rating. So these are like count as a 50, like the original Deluxe. This was a deal, a modification that was highly recommended by Dan Torres. And Dan Torres, along with Gerald Weber, you know, Bobber, and all those amp gurus, they're the guys that we studied to build these amps. We run these with the GZ34. All the originals had 5Y3s. But please, anybody who's running a 5Y3, go get a JJ GZ34. They're a slow, indirect heater warm-up, which is good, but also they're a low impedance. So they're just like the best rectifier, tube rectifier for these. I love these. And unfortunately, they're about $15 a piece. I need about 10 because I want to run all my amps on them. So these are 6V6s in a push-pull right here, too. And you just have the two preamp tubes. So we jack up the voltage here. We like a GZ34. Over here, people will call it a voicing switch right here, and we'll show you how that works. But what it is, it operates on the cathode on this first preamps deal. So you go in right here on this knob or in this input jack, and this little setup right here, it gives you three variations of you know, how your amp is going to run. Bright, fatter, bigger, I don't know, you know, all the definitions are kind of like everyone, oh, it's fat, it's thick, the thing stays so thick, or it's thin. I definitely know thin is thin. So I have this thing just going straight in. These things, I'm going to crank this up. I like the rhythm pickup. The Deluxes are known just for jumping on it too, and it now this is real Fendery, but it still has that gurgle. I'm going to pump up the treble on this a little bit, and the brightness seems to give it a volume boost. These are all the way up. So this is just on 2. The amp is just on 2, and I'm going straight in. So right here, the cathode switching switch is in the middle position, which is kind of normal for the Deluxe. Obviously brighter. to the middle. And then this way gives it the bigger, which people were calling these, like one way they said, oh, it was a Marshall. Actually, this came out in the Dave Hunter The Amp book. And it's a voicing switch that I think a lot of manufacturers use, which I like it. I like it on all my amps. But they were kind of saying, okay, the bright one's Vox. Pretty bright. And then this is the fatter one. So this thing is still just on 2. I rarely turn this up more than halfway. And this is going up. The treble's on up. So here we go. Slow started on that, but now it's kind of ripping on this end. Have this cranked. I remember somebody, you know, on these old 3-way switches, you cannot. You can't. It's very difficult to jam the switch in between. So, you know, that I've tried it on several of them. If you want, get a 5-way switch. This is the original 3-way, which I think is good because it keeps you in that mode. I forget an old Strat player from the 70s. He says, well, if I had another one like that, I'd probably play the middle pickup a lot more, which is... That's going straight in. You can control... a lot like that here. So it kind of gives it that quacky. The treble pickup's pretty quacky. So that's going straight into this. Pretty nice. I don't know what else I can do with just basically making a lot more racket. I think you can hear it. So that, I take it back, that treble pickup sounds pretty good cranked like that. That's pretty nice. Through these, and this is just a straight in deluxe. Celestion probably has a lot to do with it. We're probably going to leave this demo right at this one and possibly do another one that shows, and this is mainly showing off this guitar that I sweated up for you that we're trying to sell, and this one. We'll do another one demoing it with the Strat, because the second you take one of these amps and you plug in this Les Paul, this has some of the 59 DiMarzios in it. This is a Les Paul that we built, and oh man, it just comes unglued. And so so we'll click this one off and try and whip out another one here. So thank you very much for tuning in and checking us out. See ya. Bye.